Okay, so we try to be super respectful of people's time. So we're going to kick off in a bit. Um, so just know that this session is recorded and it's more for internal training and quality purposes, but also we'll send a recording out after the session. Okay, let's kick things off. This message is for the dreamers, the determined, the brave. Yes, you who have always desired a job in tech and have stepped out of your comfort zone to pursue this dream. This is your year. The tech world is not just for techies, it's for anyone who dares to dream, to learn, and to grow. Remember, you're not just changing jobs, you're transforming lives, yours and those of your loved ones. You might feel out of place at times, unsure, or even overwhelmed. Yes, the road to six-figure tech role may seem daunting, but within you lies the strength to overcome, the capacity to learn, and the power to succeed. Let this new year be the year you redefine what's possible. Your path in tech is not just a possibility, it's your reality waiting to be shaped. We believe in you. Now take the lead. Remember, your only limitations are the ones you set upon yourself. Good luck, and may this year be your best year yet. Excellent. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome, everybody. I know we have people joining us from different parts of Canada and different parts of the world, so you're all very, very warmly welcome. So today's session is going to be super, super insightful. It's one that I even look forward to myself, and it's called Personal Branding for Career Success. So a lot of us have the skills, have the expertise, have the knowledge, but we're not a brand. We don't know how to position ourselves. The goal is at the end of today's session, you will learn all of that. And we'll go into a little bit more detail later on. Just a quick intro. My name is Stephen Adindu, and I'm the lead coach at the Career Accelerators, where we help non-tech professionals transition into fantastic tech roles in the area of business analysis, in the area of project management, in the area of cybersecurity, data analysis, etc. So we have a wide range of training areas to help non-tech professionals find their feet in the ever thriving, ever evolving world of tech. So welcome, everybody. Before we kick off fully, I'm going to ask for a quick favor. So I know we have people joining from different parts. First of all, can everybody hear me and see me okay? I made that assumption, but I want to double check that everybody can hear me and everybody can see me okay. So if you can just put that in the chat, that will be excellent. Okay, I can see Didan saying yes, Sasha, yes, Miriam, yes, beautiful. So everybody can hear me. Everybody can see me. Fantastic. Now I'm going to ask one more question and then we'll dive in. Can you please put in the chat where you're joining from? Because I know there are people joining from different parts, whether it's different parts of Canada, different parts of Ontario, different parts of North America, different parts of the world. Wow, I see someone from Tunisia. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I've got Toronto, Miriam, welcome. We've got Sasha from Calgary. Welcome, Sasha. We've got Waneka from Calgary. We've got Vancouver in the house. Welcome, Cole from Vancouver. We've got Joseph from Ottawa, Stephanie from London. Welcome, 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 everybody. So today promises to be a super, super insightful session because sometimes we have a lot to give, but we don't fully understand how to position ourselves so we can give all that we have. And by the end of today's session, you will learn how to position yourself strategically so you can get the recognition you deserve. You can get the salary you deserve. You can get the promotion you deserve. So our promise for you today is that by the end of this session, so we strongly encourage you to stay till the end because you're going to firstly learn about personal branding for career success. That is our promise to you. You're also going to learn how to master your digital footprint. So when someone types in your name, what do they see? Is there a way? Is it possible for you to design what they see so they see the best version of you? We're going to answer that question today. Also, you'll learn how to network. Networking is key, and I'm going to show you that in a few minutes. But networking is key, right? And a lot of people don't like putting themselves out there, but you don't understand or fully appreciate what you're missing if you don't learn how to network. So you're going to learn how to network, not just network ordinarily, but network with confidence, with strategy, with insight, and purposeful networking. That is what you're going to learn today. And then we do have some Amazon vouchers that we will be giving away. So we will require a level of participation during today's workshop. So today is not really a training where you sit back, relax, and then we speak to you and train you. No, today is more of an interactive session. So for those that participate the most, we will give them Amazon vouchers. And then last but not the least, for those that are interested in taking any of our courses, there will be discount codes available. We're going to talk about that at the end, but these codes are limited. We only have 10 available. So for those looking to take advantage of today's webinar and sign up for one of our courses, then we have discount codes available for you. Now, before we dive in deeply, I just want to give everybody a word of advice. So this session is not one of those sessions that you just passively attend or you multitask about, primarily because we have someone that has depth of knowledge and also has a breadth of knowledge that will be sharing the nuggets with us, that will be sharing the secrets with us. This person has achieved a lot, including building her digital presence. And we're going to hear all of that today. But more importantly, it's also an opportunity for you to ask questions. So we ask that you do a couple of things. So one, minimize distractions. Two, use the chat box to ask any questions that you may have. Because as we go through today's conversation, there might be thoughts that come to your mind. There might be questions. There might be, scenarios that you would like us to clarify. We don't want that is the reason why we're here. We want to make sure that those questions are addressed, because if you were to get the answer to those questions outside of this forum, you'll probably be paying $200 for 30 minutes or for an hour of the person's time to give you exactly the information you're going to get during this session. So please make the most of this opportunity. Pay attention, ask any questions you have, and participate, right? Just be a part of today's conversation. Okay, before we dive a little bit deeper, I want to share something that um, when I thought about this, then it just blew my mind. When I realized this, I was super surprised at how much we leave on the table. And I want us to pay attention to this pyramid. So this is I call it the hiring certainty pyramid. What does this mean? This is the different levels or the different channels through which we search for jobs, right? So we search for jobs through all of these channels. But some channels have a higher certainty that you will get called for an interview, that you'll get invited for, given a call for a test, sent an assessment, that you'll progress to the next stage. Some of them have a higher chance than others. So what I did was to organize this into something I call the hiring certainty pyramid. So depending on the channel that you use frequently, you will see whether you have a high chance of getting the job or you have a lower chance of getting the job. So we're going to go step by step from the lowest certainty to the highest certainty. And at the end of this analysis, at the end of this quick exercise, you will very easily probably see why you've not been getting as much attention as you want or you desire. So we'll start with the first one, which is the lowest certainty, right? So this is the job board. So job board application simply means we go on Indeed, we go on Monster, we go on all of these job boards that exist and we apply for jobs. Now, the challenge is that you apply for jobs with 5,000 other people. So the chances that you will progress, you'll be singled out is minimal, right? But on the other hand, before organizations even go and post the job on the job board, they would have gone through step number 1 to step number 5. So it's only when they've exhausted 1 to 5 that they now explore 6, which is the job board applications. So most people spend the most time here. So this is where you find almost everybody. But the people that understand the game, the people that know how to position themselves, they are at the top. So your goal is to figure out ways that can inch you closer to the next level until you get to the top of the pyramid. So, hopefully, at the end of today's session, you have lots of tools in your toolbox to get to the top. And that is our goal today. So next, after the job application, which is the most common, the least certain, we have the talent pool. So this is where you submit your resume to a company's general database, and they keep you there for future roles that have not been specified yet. So they just leave you there. If there is a role, they go in there, find people, and then reach out to those people. So this is pretty much passive, but this is better than applying with 5,000 other people. But let's go quickly through the pyramid. The next is the direct application. This is where you apply directly to the company. You apply to the company's site for a role that is available. This works, but there's a lot of initial filtering going on. This is where the concept of ATS comes in. This is where the automated tracking system comes in, where if 5,000 applications come through, they sieve the 5,000, see the ones that match the keywords, and then they take out maybe the top 20, the top 30, the top 50, depending on how many people they're looking to hire. This is where tailoring your resume will make a world of difference. But this is still not the most efficient way. This is kind of in the middle, but not the most efficient. Now, the next four, I want you to pay attention to, because by the end of this session, you should be equipped with the tools to step up this ladder gradually, step by step. So next one is the network connection. So this is where you know people that can help you get noticed. This is where you have relationships that you can leverage. Someone can refer you for a role. Someone can introduce you to somebody else and they refer you to a role. So this is where you have that relationships going, and you can leverage the relationships to get noticed, to get an interview, to get a job. Okay. Now, after the network connection, we have the next one, which is the headhunter. This is where you have strategically positioned yourself. This is where you have optimized your online presence. This is where you are known. So people find you, hiring managers find you, recruiters find you because you have positioned yourself to be found. That is the key. Okay. Now, after the headhunting, we have the employee referral. So this is where you have somebody within the company that refers you, but they need to know you to refer you. So can you see how the dynamics change when you get to like the top four? Now, the channel with the highest certainty is when you work within an organization and you're moving from one role within the organization to another role within the organization. That is where you're almost guaranteed to succeed. However, before you can succeed, you need to be known. You need to be seen. You need to have a personal brand. You need to learn about personal branding, because some of us are super efficient, super knowledgeable, super qualified, lots of certifications, but we're not getting the recognition that we deserve based on our master's degree, based on our PMP certification, based on our CBAP certification. We're not getting that level of recognition. And that is because something critical is missing. Nobody knows you. So we're going to go through that today, and we're going to untangle that piece of the puzzle and equip you with the tools you need to succeed. Okay, so who is this session for? So this session is for fresh graduate international students. So if you're starting out, you're feeling overwhelmed, you've been shooting out lots of applications, you're not getting any response, or you're getting very minimal response, then this is it. This might be the game-changing bit of information, piece of the puzzle that you need to make a world of difference. This session is also for former professionals. So maybe you've migrated to a new country and you want to start a new profession, or you want to leverage your existing skills. But again, you don't know how to position it. This is for you. You could be a new immigrant as well. So you've moved to a new country, US, UK, Canada, and you're trying to figure out how do things work here? Maybe there's a translation that could be missing. Maybe in your home country, positioning is not key. there's nothing like a personal brand because it's all about certifications, for example. It could be all about degrees, for example. Maybe that's the case in your country. But then when you come into this part of the world where visibility is key, then you need to learn how to create and curate your personal brand. Again, maybe you're underemployed. Maybe you know deep down within you that you're capable of more. Maybe you know you should be doing more. You should be earning more. You should be contributing more, but you're not. Again, there's nothing wrong with starting out with like an okay job, maybe a customer service role, a PSW role, a banking advisor role. Those are good starts, but the problem is when you stay there. So this is how and why you need to start thinking about, okay, what is my brand? What do people see when they Google my name? And then lastly, this is for anybody that desires a change in their career. So if you want to become more visible, if you want to learn how to position yourself, again, it doesn't matter the industry. Positioning is key and it's industry agnostic. So if you want to learn how to position yourself, this is for you. Okay. So a little bit about me. My name is Stephen Adindu. I have over 15 years experience in this field. I have the PMP certification, CSM, CBAP certification, uh, some Scrum Master certifications. I have a diploma in business analysis. I'll just quickly skip through all the certifications. I have work experience across 3 continents, and most importantly, I have directly transformed the lives of over 500 people that have trained through the career accelerators. So when I came into Canada in 2018, I was worried about getting a job, and like everybody else that migrates to a new country. And for me, it was okay, how can I get a job as quickly as possible? So I started applying for jobs, and I was able to get 5 jobs in a period of 7 weeks. Now, I wanted to take all 5 jobs, obviously, because the money was really, really good, but I couldn't. So, what I thought to myself is, what if I can take what I know and pass it on to people so they can go take the remaining 4 jobs? Because I cannot physically do 5 jobs by myself, but I can take what I have, equip it with, to like give it to people, share it with individuals, share it with groups, so they can go get these jobs. And that is how we started the career accelerators. So over the years, we've trained thousands of people. We've had lots of incredible transformation. And it's something that I'm most proud of. But I want to take a detour and take us on a journey. And this is because motivations play a critical role in our lives and in how we behave, how we approach things, and how we, whether it's, consume information, perform our work, etc. So I want to go on a brief journey, and I want you to think with me. What would it feel like? What would it feel like if you can achieve any of these? So the first one, if you can just be headhunted for your dream role. So imagine you wake up in the morning and you receive an email and someone says to you, "We saw your profile. We want to hire you for this role." How will that feel? Be achieving that level of recognition. Also, how will it feel if you go for an interview? So imagine you walk into an interview and the hiring manager in that interview says to you, "I know you. I follow you on social platform and I love what you do." How would that feel? Because that is almost, it's like someone saying to you, "Wow, I'm glad you're here. Let's get this done and dusted. Let's put the interview to one side and just come start working." That is what it would feel like. And this is because of how you may have positioned yourself, right? What would it feel like if you could be in a position where you can negotiate your salary, you can negotiate your working conditions? Think about a celebrity that let's say you hire a celebrity to come perform for you at an event. The celebrity will say, "Okay, I need, the best hotels, a private jet, whatever it is." What if you have that same level of influence when you are about to secure a new job because of how you have positioned yourself? How will that feel? What if you can be referred for roles? What if people know of what you do and they go ahead and tell others, "Oh, please, recruit this person, recruit Chintal, recruit Waneka, recruit John, recruit James," right? Because they are good, because they know you and they can refer you. And what if you can be in the driver's seat of your career? You can be in complete control and not wait for things to happen to you, but you make things happen proactively. That is the reason why we're here today. That is the reason why we're here to learn about personal branding for career success. And the beautiful thing is anybody can build their personal brand. There's no prerequisite, there's no, you don't have to be a certain height, a certain weight, you don't have to speak in a certain way. You can build it by yourself. The biggest problem is a lot of people do not know how. And today we have with us a super special guest who is going to show us how, share some experiences with us, and show us and guide us as to how we can strategically position ourselves to stand out from the crowd. And today we have Ehi. We've been just a bit of a some context. We've been trying to do this for a long time, but because she's extremely busy, we haven't found the time. So as soon as we were able to lock in today, I just grabbed it with both hands and said, yes, let's do it. So I am really appreciative of Ehi joining us today. Who is Ehi, I hear you ask? So Ehi is the founder of Anusio. Anusio is an incredible platform. We have used the Anusio platform. It's an award-winning AI-powered career guidance platform. So it's for career mapping, career planning, whatever you want to do career-related. Anusio is an incredible platform that would help you achieve that. She also has an MBA from the University of Toronto. She's also a lecturer at the University of Toronto. She has 14 years global experience with organizations like TD, Stanbic, IBTC, IBM Layer, 6AI. And she is an entrepreneur in residence, so helping other entrepreneurs. And she is a recipient of the Black North Initiative Entrepreneurship Award. So this is an award that comes with a lot of, zeros behind it anyway. But she has almost 20,000 followers on LinkedIn, 20,000. And this was built from scratch, all organic. So for someone to be able to build all of this, there is a whole lot that they have. So with that, I would like us to welcome Ehi. Hello, Ehi. Good morning.
Hi, Steven. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Uh, okay. Um, Thank you. Can you guys see me yet?
Yes, I can
Can
see
you see
you.
me? Okay, awesome. Well, I don't know who that person is that you're talking about, but she sounds amazing.
You are
but
amazing.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to share what I've learned so far. Even when I think back at them, like, how did this happen, right? And so, like you said, I'm 100% aligned with everything you've shared so far, and I'll be looking forward to sharing more about, how I have benefited from, that hiring certainty pyramid from being at the top of it. But without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and then we'll get right into it. Let's see. Um, Let me know if you can see my screen. Can you all see my screen? Stephen, I can't see the chat, so I'm going to need you to be responding yes, no to stuff, please.
So yes, I can see a screen and I have a couple of confirmations in the chat saying yes.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to just move this into slide mode. Okay, give it a few minutes here. Okay, awesome. So, personal branding, that's what we're going to be talking about. And I'd like to hear from folks who are on the call. When you think about personal branding or when you hear the word personal branding, what comes to mind for you? If you could just drop it in the chat and then Stephen, you can help, read out what we're hearing from people.
Yep. So I have Andy, who has said marketing yourself. I have a Didan or Didan, being known in your sector. I have Kingsley promoting your expertise. I have iPhone Sorry, that's the name I have. So values, what do I stand for? I have Sasha saying how you want to position yourself to employers and the public. I have Yvonne saying your online and professional presence. Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
I love all of that. I love that. I love that. Okay, my next question to you all today is, obviously it's a Saturday and you've decided to take an hour plus out of your day to be here. So what are you looking to get out of today's session? Type it in the chat. What made you come and join today's session? What do you want to have as a takeaway to do? What clarifications do you think you would like to get out of today's session? Drop in the chat for us.
Okay, so I have a couple coming in. So from Andy, to learn more tips on how to teach personal branding to my adult students. Nice. So clarity on personal branding. Um, I love this one from Chigi. So get ready to win 2026. Um, so for personal development, the knowledge to make myself known online with confidence, tips to grow, build my personal reach, find my voice, and get my reputation out there.
Mm,
More knowledge about applying for jobs. At the end of the session, be able to change my career with confidence. Strategies to properly position myself for consulting needs. So I can keep going like this.
okay, no, this is great. This is great.
Okay.
Thank you. And lastly, when you think about personal branding, what are your fears? What are your concerns? What are your worries? All of these great things that you all are saying you want to achieve or you want to be able to take away from today's session. What's stopping you from achieving them right now? What's stopping you from going for it right now? What are some of those fears, concerns that come to mind?
Okay. So um, we have a couple coming in. Um, so we have the first one from Kobe, which is rejection by recruiters. We have failures and rejection. We have beating the ATS. We have, I wish I had a name for iPhone, but we had iPhone say fear, literally just fear.
Mm-hmm.
We have Aliyah, lack of knowledge. We have Teslimat, failure, social anxiety. We have one naked feeling of not having enough knowledge. We have leader and visibility comes with overexposure. That's another exciting perspective.
Okay.
Okay, we
Okay.
have a
No,
couple
that's
more. So
okay. No, no, all of that is really great. And thank you all for sharing that because it helps me tailor how I speak to those things that you've mentioned. Like Steve said in the introduction, my name is Ahi. I currently work at Layer 6. Layer 6 is the AI research lab at TD Bank. Truth is, today everybody associates me with tech, but I am a farmer. I have a bachelor's and master's in agriculture. I started off, with my own farm, working on the farm, and over the last 15 years, I've worked across 17 different industries. I'm also the founder of Anusio, where we build AI tools to help people be in the driver's seat of their own career and be able to plan their career irrespective of what the industry or market is doing. I also have a second startup called Aljima Consulting, where we build tech solutions for small and medium-sized businesses. Started off with just consulting, but over the years we've consolidated it into two grant platforms, one for research and development and the other for business grants. I'm also the executive director of a not-for-profit called The Future Ready. We do all things related to career, but working with community centers in like low-income neighborhoods, think Jane and Finch and all of the other similar neighborhoods like that. I do workshops across different school boards, York University, Peel District School Board, TDSB, the DMZ. Like Steve mentioned, I'm a entrepreneur in residence and an expert in residence for the Black Founders Network. And I teach in the Masters of Mathematical Finance program at the University of Toronto. Now, as you're looking at this slide, it might sound, oh my God, she's amazing, she's great. Truth is, all of this started to happen just as recently as December 2022. Just like you guys are here now listening to this session, I was in a session where I'm working with a coach, and she challenged me, just like Steve has challenged you all today, that after this session, you need to take action. So within 2 years, all of these things that you see on this screen started to happen. And this can be your story too, because truth is, most times we already have what it takes to skyrocket whatever area of life we want to get to. And like someone rightly put in the chat, the challenge is fear. Fear is what is standing between you and the desired level of freedom that you need to get to. So we're going to be addressing all of that today. Steve, I recall the first time that I heard about you. I was talking to somebody and they mentioned your name. They're like, "Oh, there's this guy, Steven. He runs, this career program." And then, every single time I was meeting with them like frequently to talk about a specific project that I wanted to work on, and your name kept coming up, and they said your name with such like great respect, enthusiasm, conviction. I was like, okay, that's interesting. I would love to meet this Steven person. So I was really curious to meet you. I'm wondering who this person is, how they are, who they are, what they do, and why this other person that I'm speaking to holds them in such high regard and high respect. And then when I finally got to meet you, you know it did not disappoint, and obviously that's why I'm here today. And what I want you to take out of that story is personal branding helps you build reputation, and reputation goes before you into rooms that you are not there. And what then happens is when you start to share more and when people start to know you for whatever it is that you want them to know you for, you now have, it's almost like having, so Steven mentioned that I have 20,000 followers. It's almost like having those 20,000 people. They are my reputation. Like they could speak about me anywhere in whatever context based off of what they know that I do or I can do. Now, outside of those 20,000 people, there are thousands of other people that know me outside of my online profile. And those people will also take my reputation. So essentially, my reputation is working hard for me even when I'm not there. And that is what I want you to keep in mind, right? Like your time is limited. You only have 24 hours in a day. You're only one person. So how can you make what you've already done so far work hard for you in rooms where you're not there? That is one thing to keep in mind as we go along. So for me, what my personal brand has helped me do since December 2022 that I decided to start taking action, it helped me discover myself. Like all of the things that I do today, I've always been doing them in one way, shape, or form, but not to the scale that I'm doing them now. I didn't even realize how good I am at what I do until I started to show up in rooms, until people started to want to listen to me. And I'm like, wait, this person is a senior vice president. Why are they requesting to chat with me? I started to get opportunities without even applying for them. And what that meant was I didn't have to queue in line on job boards to apply for. Like for the last 5 years, I've not applied for any role. All of the jobs I've gotten, all of the roles I've gotten were opportunities that came to me inbound. Every week, at least I get 3 messages on LinkedIn reaching out to me and say, hey, we found this opportunity. Are you interested? I get headhunted on emails. Hey, we heard about you through this person. Are you interested in this role? And I'm the one having to decline to say, no, I'm not looking to be hired at this time. Personal branding helps you create career insurance. At least that is what it has done for me. Like I'm not worried about, oh, what's the job market saying today? Whatever happens, I know I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine because I've come to discover myself and the extent of what I can do and what happens when I actually decide to do something and take action. So from today's session, you're going to learn what personal branding really is. You're going to learn how to find your own personal brand and choose your own personal brand, because what you know about me today or what people know about me today is the version of me that I'm choosing to share with them. So you choose, you decide what you want to share. You get to know how that personal branding, the effort you put in, the investment you put into personal branding, how it translates into your career. And I'm going to share with you a framework to apply for yourself and practical steps, actions that you can take right after this session, and then how you can start executing on your own personal brand today. And I'm hoping that you make this time valuable for all of us by making sure that you actually take the action. Because the truth is, people that don't know 1/10 of what you know, they are making bank because they choose to show up, because they choose to build a personal brand. So why not you, right? Kind of mentioned a little bit about this. For me, I've come to see that personal branding has, like when people say, show me your portfolio, show me your work, they don't even ask me that anymore. Because I have a personal brand, like the work that I do is available anywhere and everywhere. It's available online, it's available offline. I'm being People are reaching out to me to say, hey, come write a book. I'm like, I don't have the time for that right now. So it's helped me build proof that I'm good at what I'm good at. I recently had a conversation where I was telling a VP I was actually creating a role that did not exist. So my current role at the bank, I it did not exist. I just pitched it. I'm like, I want to be in this role. You don't have it in existence yet, but because of XYZ that I've done so far in the community and all of these projects that I've done in the community. Remember, I'm saying community. I'm not saying what I studied or the course that I took. No, I think you need this role. And I've been supporting you for the last 3 months, and I see that it's valuable to you. And her response was, you don't even need to pitch yourself. Like you don't need to give me reasons why you're the right person for this. I see what you do in the community, and I think you're perfect for this role. They ended up posting that role just to make it formal. So imagine they posted it, all of the thousands of people that went to apply. Do you think they even got the like they didn't even get an interview? They didn't even like nobody looked at their resume because I had already completed the interview. It was just a 5 minute chat before that role got posted. And so that is what personal branding can help you do. You skip interview lines, you attract recruiters, you attract opportunities. You now know the part of you that you want to make as part of your career that gets you excited every morning. It helps you diversify your opportunities. It diversifies your income, your network. You can be located in Asia. You can be located in Nigeria, Ghana, Tunisia, wherever it is. You can be located in Calgary, Nunavut, Yukon, wherever you are, but you can reach the whole world because you have a personal brand. And what that also does, it it gives people this FOMO because when they hear about you and you present yourself as wanting to work with, it almost makes them feel like, what can I do to make sure I share? Nothing else can help you achieve that unless you have a personal brand. And like I said, it gives you career insurance. If at any point before I got to this space of building my personal brand, I hated the job I was in. I hated it so much that I got numb in my fingers and my toes. I had to stop working for 8 months. It was in that space that I realized I need to figure out a way to do something that excites me. And so having a personal brand gives you an identity beyond whatever situation you're in, whether that's your job, whether that's your current status in relationship, in life, in any space. And it helps you reinvent yourself because you develop lots of transferable skills that even as everybody's shouting AI is going to take jobs, your personal branding gives you skill sets that any AI cannot automate away. And it helps you keep adapting, you become really resilient. Now, there are lots of misconception about what a personal brand is. Most times you think, oh, a personal brand has to be extremely formal, it has to be tied exactly to my job, or it's only my job title. That's all a personal brand is. No, you decide what you want your personal brand to be. You can choose to make it like very professional about your skill set, about the job that you're in, about the industry that you're in, and you can choose to make it about fun things that interest you. You can choose to make it about other aspects of your life. You can choose to combine different aspects of your life, the professional side, the mom side, the fun side of you, the partner side of you, the person who's in a relationship, the student who's going through life, the new immigrant who's struggling and also trying to be a product manager, a business analyst. You decide what your personal brand is. And personal branding is not just for your job title or your current job title. It's about your reputation as an individual. And it encompasses even the things you do as hobbies. So, for example, I have this colleague of mine. I actually started encouraging her to, lean more into her personal brand. She does everything beauty and career, beauty and skincare. But then I started to realize also that she got a full ride scholarship from Nigeria to study in Canada worth 250,000. If anybody knows the education landscape, higher education landscape in Canada, you don't get scholarships that easily. So I started to tell her, like, why are you hiding this part of it? There's so many people who are looking to get into, the same space that you got into. So now she combines her love for beauty and skincare, and she provides guidance as to how do you stand out to organizations that would typically not offer, or to schools that would typically not offer scholarships, and make sure you get a scholarship for your education. So now she's doing skincare overlaid with the career. And just 2 weeks ago, one of her videos got over 60,000 engagements. 60,000. So personal branding is not just for your job title. Your personal branding does not just live on LinkedIn. It lives wherever you show up, wherever you are. That could be social media. It could be LinkedIn, it could be TikTok, it could be Facebook, it could be Twitter. It could be in your personal field of industry, like if you're in mining space, if you're in the tech space, if you're in healthcare. It's within your community. If you're a new immigrant, if you're from Ghana, if you're from India, if you're from um, wherever you're from. It's who people know you as. It's also who you show up at work as. In your workplace, when people hear your name in rooms when you're not there, what do they think of? Are they like, oh, that person, like, if you need something, yeah, that's the person to go to. Oh, do you know she also does XYZ? And it gives people things to talk about when it comes to you, and makes them want to work with you. So your personal brand lives on LinkedIn. When you start, depending on how you choose to start, you don't have to stick with one thing forever. Just like your life phase will change, your life needs will change, your situations will change, you will grow as an individual. Your personal brand evolves with you. It evolves with the goals that you want to achieve. It evolves with your life season. Like, remember, and you start to see it as I go through this conversation today. Your personal brand should be working for you. That's selfish and that's okay. Just like with every asset you have in your life, whether that's your money, your time, your job, your personal brand is an asset, and it should be working for you to meet whatever goal you have for that phase of life that you're in. Next, personal branding is not just for influencers or celebrities. And I say that with the utmost sense of self-awareness, because even until more recently, like when people started calling me, "Oh, Eki, you're not an influencer," I'm like, and I felt a little cringe. I'm like, I'm not an influencer. I don't know how this even happened. Like, I had a whole different goal, and somehow, we've landed where we have landed today. This was not my plan, but I did achieve my goal of starting a personal brand, and I got the added bonus of all the other things that I wasn't looking for. So it gives you visibility, and that's what matters the most. If you then become an influencer, that's fine. An influencer means you can influence decisions in your industry. So if you work in cybersecurity, and your experience, or your life experience, your work, who you are, makes you become someone that can shape the thoughts, can shape how people think about that space. So why not? What's wrong with being an influencer then? An influencer is a thought leader. An influencer is someone who creates movement. And so if you can start creating a movement around whatever it is that you choose to be or choose to show, please, why not? right? If any other person is able to do it, why not you? Because the truth is, the number of people that you can get to know about you, that knows about your work, that knows about what you can do, the better for you in the long term. And lastly, is that, and I can imagine this would also relate to what someone said in the chat earlier about fear. The myth that you cannot have a job and build a personal brand. That is not true. I am employed in a full-time job. I have two startups and I talk about it publicly. And I'm doing amazingly well at my job. The caveat that I'm going to give is the fact that I have my startups, the fact that I'm building my personal brand does not mean that I slack in my job. And the advantage that it has given me is that I've been able to use my personal brand as a place of experiment, as a place to learn new skills, as a place to learn about emerging trends in the industry, as a place to build my confidence, as a place to build my voice. The person you see talking to you today, guys, I'm an extremely shy person. Like I can't even begin to tell you like how shy I am. So bad that when I was doing my first master's degree, I froze on stage. I couldn't speak because I hated speaking in public. I still hate speaking in public. This is the same person that I cannot speak in a group of when I was doing my MBA at school at U of T, I would never raise my hand up to speak in class unless it was like absolutely necessary. That was how shy I was. The first time I went on stage to pitch my startup, my voice, I still listened to the recording recently. My voice was shaking. It felt like I was going to cry. But you know what happened? Despite that, I won a prize on that day. That was the first time I won. I won $7,000 for speaking on stage for 3 minutes to talk about an idea that I wanted to build. And that idea is what has become an issue. That idea is what has won me more, like several different awards and pitch prizes and grants. I've gotten over 200K, all part of building a personal brand. That was where it started from. So if you're here and you're thinking, well, I don't think this is for me. No, it is for everybody. I know someone, a very dear friend that I recently got acquainted with. He's a software engineer, but he also loves taking photographs. And he's decided to build his personal brand at the intersection of his job and his hobby. Now that hobby is no longer a hobby because he gets invited to so many different like celebrity events, high profile events to take pictures. And then even the company that he works at as a software engineer also hires him to come do photography for events. Like how cool is that? And he has an amazing like thousands of followers on LinkedIn and on Instagram. I know an introvert who posts about book summaries, and now she gets to receive interviews, paid gigs, paid interviews, paid invitation to come speak on stage about the books that she posts. You could be a teacher. You could be a mom who loves, making decoration and toys with your kids. You could be a business analyst who also loves painting. You could be a student who also has a love for, I don't know, maybe creating animations or talking jokes, or you could just be someone who has a lot of ideas about a particular field, or you're frustrated about a particular area and you just want to rant. Trust me, there are many people that are in that space that want someone to relate with and they want someone to engage with. Or recently, I even saw a product manager who shares day in the life as a product manager. And because she started talking about what her day-to-day life looked like she literally filmed herself going through her day as a product manager at work. She started getting people who wanted to work with her to post brand messages. And she's being paid to do that while she has a 9 to 5. The only thing I would say is in my case, and I believe in many other jobs, for those of us who are currently in one role or the other, every company has something they call outside business interest policy. You just go in there and indicate that, oh, I have XYZ that I do outside of work. And on my online profiles, I put a caveat there. Every opinion that I share here are my own opinions. Once you've said that, everybody knows that, okay, whatever you're saying, it's your own opinion. It's not, has nothing to do with the company, and you're sure that you're not being offensive, you're not breaking any laws, then you don't need anybody's permission. Your personal brand is an asset, and you choose to invest in it for your own goals. Now, in terms of how do you figure out what you should be building or how to go about building this personal brand? I always like, when I was starting off, I didn't have this whole framework. I just said, okay, I'm going to take action. And how this happened was I was working with a career coach, and she had been working with me for a couple of months. And on December, I think it was December 14th, we're having the last call for that year, for the year in 2022. And she said to me, Ehi, like I've come to know your story, and you know so much. You know a whole lot about many different things. And you have very unique perspectives. You should start figuring out how to be more confident, because that was really my challenge. And she shared with me like some examples, like, just find a way to help you get comfortable with your voice, help you get comfortable with who you are. Because at the time, she saw me and she said, you're going to start going into leadership positions. And in leadership, you need to have a brand presence. You need to be able to speak in rooms, and not just speak because you are asked to. You need to be able to take the initiative to speak up. You take the initiative to lead something, introduce something, disagree with something, have an opinion. That was my own selfish reason as to starting a personal brand. So for the four frameworks that I'm sharing, I call it the four P's. The first is your purpose. Why do you want to have a personal brand? The second is your positioning. Which part of you that makes you unique do you want to show up as? And like I said, it doesn't have to be formal. It could be your strengths, it could be your failures, it could be your experiences, it could be weird things about you, it could be things that you nerd about, so long as it's like not offensive. It could be an unexpected combination of multiple different things about you. The next P is your personality. It's actually the way you're most comfortable to show up. And trust me, it changes over the years. Where I started from, what was my level of comfort versus where I am now is like night and day. And the last P is your presence. Your presence is where you hang out typically, whether that's online, whether that's offline, but where you always show up literally every single day. That is where you should be building your personal brand. Now, I'll go a little bit deeper on each of those things. Your purpose. This is literally the question you should ask yourself. Why do you want to have a personal brand? Some of you shared it in the chat earlier. It could be for your career. It could be maybe you want to have something else that works for you, like I've said. For me, it was because I needed to build communication skills. I needed to build communication skills at a leadership level. I needed to build confidence. Those were the two key things I wanted to be able to achieve. So you can decide, what is it that I want to achieve with my personal brand? And the easy way to find out is, what are some values that guide your decisions in day-to-day life? It can be things that are, very serious, again, profession, your health, or health in sense of, okay, I have a friend who is a treasury analyst, and is very into healthy living. So he combines both, and that's how he chooses to show up. Now he has over 300,000 followers on Instagram. That is a brand that he has built onto himself. And he's making cool money on the side. Like, lots of brands are looking to engage with the audience that he has attracted. Professional people who want to stay healthy while living their day-to-day life. It is what motivates you and energizes you. What does that look like? It could be that you love playing video games. What are things that you could share with an audience that also loves that, and overlay it with your life in being a product manager, or your life with being a mom, or your life with being a student, or your life with being someone who's looking for a job. It could be about the impacts that you want to make. It could be something that you would love to be known for, something that you're learning. Like, it could literally be anything. It could be that, oh, you want to document your progress in something that you're trying to achieve, and you want to bring people along with you. And what that does, and that's like literally the best way to be. Most people think, oh, you have to have like thousands of followers before you start to get traction. No, when you're just starting off, it's attractive to other people because you're giving them permission to see that I can also be going on this journey. Okay, Ehi is going on this journey, I'm going to follow along her journey. And so you start seeing them, you start showing them what is possible, because you two are just trying to figure it out. And maybe you just want to rant about things. You always have opinions about things. If you're one person who gets into conversations, in day-to-day life, and you're really good at having a good debate, you're good at sparring with people, that could be a brand. You could want to, talk about industry trends, controversial things that people are talking about within your industry, or maybe based on your particular situation in life. Honestly, you decide. You decide how you want to show up. And so, as I'm speaking, I want you to be thinking to yourself, you know, what are some of those things about me that I can that comes to mind really easily? And you don't have to, like, sometimes we overthink these things. Like, you don't have to overthink it, just pick one. And again, I want to repeat this. It can be something that's extremely selfish. It can be that I want to make money by having a personal brand. That is okay. It doesn't have to be altruistic. Choose what works for you and then find your way to get there. So I've kind of put like a to do action on the side here. You could start with listing some of those values that will guide your decision. And I use the word values loosely. Tie it into whether it's something serious, something fun, something about your current situation in life. Ideally, something you already do on a day to day basis, something that already excites you that you cannot stop talking about. For me, that has always been career and business. Like, from day one, I grew up in a very low income situation. So I was always into the hustle, and I could see how my mom, running multiple different businesses and side hustles, she was able to get things going for us no matter how bad. So that has been my go-to situation, like career, business. And that's all I show up for as my personal brand. It could also be the impact that you want to have. You decide. And I'll stop here a little bit. I want to see people put in the chat as I'm speaking to you. What's coming to your mind? What's something unique about you that, even though you don't know how to apply it just yet, I can start using that in the examples as we go along. What's something unique about you that you think, you could tie to your purpose or your wife for wanting to have a personal brand? Let's put it in the chat. Steven, you're gonna help me here.
I'm actually making notes. I'm also trying to think of my own personal brand. Okay, so by the way, we've had some really good questions come through.
Okay, let's take them.
Oh, do you want to take some of them now?
Yeah, we can take them now. Yep.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Well, first of all, with regards to the question you asked, so we have a couple of people. One, Barine has said event planning. Kingsley has said project management. Miriam, Toastmasters is a good way. Okay, so I think she's talking about ways to build. Graphic design and art direction. So this is from Sasha. Migration stress management. This is from Didan. Graphic design. So yeah, quite a few really good ideas.
Okay, love
But
that.
maybe I'll go back a little bit to, and maybe we can take one or two questions. So Kingsley had a question, and the question is, how do you discover what your personal brand is? Is it a skill you're good at, an expertise, or what exactly, and the process to figure it out? So I feel like in a way you kind of touched on this, but maybe you might want to add one or two more.
No, for sure. That's a really good question. And the first step to discovering what your personal brand is deciding why you want to have a personal brand. And then I always just tell people, just start. And when I say just start, you could choose to start with something that you are most passionate about. And that could be soccer, it could be hockey, it could be reading books. For me, is I love playing board games. I show up, I go to, like, when I came in 2018, I'll go to random events. I'll go on Facebook and meet random people. I'll go to Burlington, Windsor, like different places, just because I wanted to meet people who play board games and who play board games that I've never seen anywhere else before. Like I started off with snakes and lattes when I knew that existed, and then I started going like to more like very advanced board games conversation. I could have chosen to make that, what I wanted to focus on. It could be that you love playing D&D. It could be that you love painting. It could be that you want to talk about like the struggles you go through as an immigrant, and then you want to overlay it with how you're making life work for you. I have been able to win so many grants, in the course of my journey in the last 3 years. I could choose to make that what I want to talk about, like support people through like share how I'm able to get those grants. Or I could choose to talk about the fact that I'm able to keep my 9 to 5 job, excel at it, and then also run a startup on the side. I could choose to talk about how I've transitioned through multiple different industries, starting in agriculture, moving on to banking, then operations, then treasury, then capital markets, then product, then risk management. Like I could choose to talk about literally anything. Like your personal brand is what you choose to talk about as it relates to yourself. Does that kind of answer the question for you?
I would
Your
say it
person-
does. I'd say it does. And maybe I'll just add one more thing to it because I feel like everybody inherently knows what that thing should be. But like you don't need anybody to tell you. You know what it is. You feel it as well. Um, but sometimes the question is you're asking yourself, is this the best thing? Can I go for the second best or the third best? But there was something you said, Ehi, which is it doesn't matter. You can still change. Like what you start with
yes.
doesn't have to be what you end with. So, um, no, thank you. I think you answered the question perfectly. And I think that kind of naturally segues into the next question by Carrie Ann. So I've got so many things I want to do. At 60, I'm starting a new path. Not because I want to, but not because I have to, but because I truly want to. The challenge is I keep holding back from launching because I feel everything has to be
And Stephen,
perfect.
can you speak up a little bit?
Oh, yeah, I'll start again. So can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yes, it's much better. Thank you.
Okay. So I've got so many things I want to do. This is from Carrie Ann. At 60, I'm starting a new path, not because I have to, but because I truly want to. The challenge is I keep holding back from launching because I feel everything has to be perfect. It feels like my last big chance. And I'm wondering how to get unstuck.
I love that. I love that. And I think, and I'm happy you mentioned that, right? It's also it tied to what the other person said, like perfection. What exactly is perfection? Nothing is perfect. Nobody is perfect. And I feel perfection, and this might come across as a little insensitive, but for me, perfection is almost an excuse. It's the excuse that I use when I was holding back on releasing the videos that I had recorded. I recorded these videos since February. I did not start posting them until August. And I kept saying, no, it's not perfect. I kept having reasons to not post them. It will never be perfect. It can never be perfect. You just start. And you see that question that you actually just shared in the chat? That could even be your first post. Literally. It could be that. And I recommend, like, for people who are not even sure, like, oh, what exactly should I be posting about? I have so many different, I'm a multifaceted individual. That's exactly who I am. the best place to start is TikTok. That's the easiest place to grow an audience. And as you start to see what's working, you transfer it onto LinkedIn, especially because we're career people and headhunting and professional activities happen on LinkedIn. Like what you just shared here could be like that question you just asked could be the first post that you actually make. It could be, I'm showing up here, I'm 60, I've had a life across X, Y, and Z, but today I'm choosing to start showing up in this regard because I want to achieve this regard in this fourth quarter of my life. I started learning about the quarters of life. I forget where I heard about it. It was like from when you get up to 25, and then when you get up to 40, and then from 40 to 60, 70, and then from 70 and above. Like that could literally be the first thing you share. And then every day after that, you could have a thought. Go ahead, record yourself. Go ahead, grab a pen and write. For me, I started off with just writing because I wasn't comfortable with seeing my face everywhere, or I don't like watching myself speaking. So I started off with the platform that encourages, just sharing your thoughts via text messages or via text input. And that was LinkedIn for me. And then from LinkedIn, more recently, I started to do videos. When I finally got over myself, I'm like, okay, I know, like, and let me tell you something. The first 2 months that I was posting on LinkedIn, I turned off all LinkedIn notifications because I didn't want to see who liked, who didn't like, who commented, who reacted. I was just too, someone mentioned social anxiety. I was just too overwhelmed with like, oh my God, I don't want to see what people are going to say. And then when I opened it, I'm like, okay, nobody has crucified me yet. I'm still alive. The world is moving on. Sometimes people engage, sometimes they don't engage. It didn't matter. I just felt good that as I kept posting, over time it started getting easier. And then my communication started to get better. I started learning how to pass across my ideas in the simplest and most succinct way. So the fact that you're at this stage in life, I am sure there are thousands other people that are, clocking 60 and they are trying to think, okay, what should this phase of my life be? You would attract that audience. You give them a reason to show up, you give them a reason to follow that journey. You'd actually be providing a huge value to them, and you'll be doing the world a disservice if you don't proceed with what you have in mind right now. Perfection is a myth. Perfection is an excuse for us not to take the next step.
Hmm. Thank you so much for that. That is very, very well said. There are some more questions coming through. So do you want to do the questions or
Okay, let me keep going. We'll probably answer some of those questions as I go along. And if there are any ones that I don't get to touch upon as I go through the slides, then we can take those ones.
okay, sounds
All
good.
right. So moving on to the next P, positioning. I've kind of alluded to this already. There's so many different aspects to who I am. So positioning is which part of who you are or what you do or how you do what you do you want to show to the world. And I say when I say to the world, I mean whether that's online or offline. It could be your lived experience through a particular situation. And that lived experience could be positive or negative. It could be some trauma that you've gone through and you've come out strong, but some people have gotten debilitating effects from that trauma. It could be workplace related, it could be life related, personal related, relationship related. It could be, positive experience too, from a almost like a grass to grace kind of story, because that's literally what my story is. And I could choose to share that part of my life too. I recall I had an interview recently, almost like a guest interview, and I was talking to this podcast host backstage about like all of the different things that I've um, experienced. And she's like, "Oh my God, that could be something else." I was like, "No, I don't want to share that part of my life online." But again, you can choose to decide what you want to share. It could be something related to your strengths, it could be something related to your skills and your jobs, it could be achievements that you've held in formal and informal situations. It could be the fact that you've you work with kids a lot and you've learned what helps kids succeed, and you can now provide parents with some tips and insights about what you're hearing. It could be that you're a mom or you're a first time mom and you're going through certain different kind of situations, or how like it could literally be anything. You choose how you want to show up. The truth is, if you've lived for at least up to your teenage years, and I'm sure everybody on this call is more than a teenager, you've actually done the hard work of what you need to show up for your personal brand. It could also be something that people already come to you for. So it's a mix of your professional expertise. It could be your personal passions and interests. It could be something that you already do in your day-to-day life. Maybe you're a serial side hustler. Maybe you do wood cutting outside of work. Maybe you mold sculptures despite being a risk analyst, or like you could be knitting. Maybe you're good at knitting. Like, I recently met this very senior person from one of the top consulting companies. I And then we got into a conversation. I realized that she knits all her clothes. That could be something that you show up for. And she has like a crop of followers of who also like she just, all she does on that channel is talking about like her knitting. Like, she's knitting stuff, and then she's talking about day-to-day life, what it as a senior exec, what that looks like, how to, become a leader, and she's just doing her thing. Like, you choose, just find what is most comfortable for you, and that's what makes the unique difference. Is that part of you that nobody else has, combined with everything that you've ever done. That's what draws people to you, because you're almost showing them what their future could look like what experiences they could be having, or what mistakes they could avoid because you have gone through those mistakes before. And it could even be that you just want to come on there and say, hey, what is this thing that's happening in our environment? Can we talk about this? Like, I don't understand why XYZ. And you're doing your knitting, or maybe you're someone who really loves cooking. You can be doing your amala or whatever, or rice, jollof rice, and be talking about what you want to talk about. Find what is most comfortable for you. It could even be that maybe you teach people in an audience, or maybe you go to a particular community center or a location, or you have a meetup group, and you could literally be recording yourself as you're doing what you're doing, and then just overlay a voiceover, text. AI even makes it easier for you. Create a text bunch of what you want to say or what was happening there, and you're talking about it. What would get people interested is the fact that they're watching you go about your day-to-day life, and then you're sharing valuable knowledge, or knowledge that keeps them entertained, keeps them interested. So just think about, what am I already good at? Again, don't overthink it, guys. Do not overthink it. I recently hired someone that I found on Reddit, because I saw that they were always posting very thoughtful comments as it relates to careers. And then I asked them to send me their portfolio. And this guy sends me a link to his Instagram page. And what does he do on Instagram? He just creates funny videos. I found myself watching his page for almost 15 minutes, and I was just laughing. It cracked me up so big. But he has like over 200,000 followers. But the job he was applying for was totally unrelated to what he posted about on Instagram. But I still wanted to engage with him, because he gave me an idea into the kind of person he is, how he works, how he thinks. Because to be able to script those kind of stories and share those kind of thoughts, they were mostly just 30 seconds, like thoughts of of his thoughts and experiences. See, things as simple as, he has a pile of dishes because he doesn't have a dishwasher, and now he has to like start washing them, and then he ties it into what happens in day-to-day life, and how that prevents us from doing XYZ. And I could relate to a lot of what he was saying when I was at that stage in my life too. So it's whatever gets you excited, whatever is unique about you. It could be serious, it could be unserious. You decide. In my own case, like I said, I've decided that, okay, I want to start showing up for careers. I started off talking about my own career experiences, how I got my job within 2 weeks of arriving in Canada, how Even though I was extremely shy, I didn't used to post on LinkedIn. This was way back 2017, 2018. I reached out to multiple different directors, what kind of messaging I sent them, how I got interviews back in Nigeria before I even landed here, how I've gotten my roles since the last 5, 6 years without having, like, you decide what you want to show. And then when I started doing side hustles to learn new skills, because my job wasn't giving me the opportunity to learn the skills that I needed to grow into the next level of promotion, I started creating side hustles, and I'll use my side hustles to experiment. If I take a course in SEO, for example, I would apply that SEO knowledge on the side hustle that I had. If I took it, when I started getting curious about supply chain, I created my own Shopify and store, and I was managing supply chain activities, so I could relate to the activities happening there. When AI started to become a thing, this even before OpenAI launched, I started getting curious about the tech space. I was just sharing about everything I was learning. None of it was perfect. For the most time, I'm self-taught in a whole lot of things that I'm doing. The first ever blockchain product that was being built at the bank, I was the product manager for it, and that was the first tech job that I got. The reason I got that role, my boss was like, I hired you not because you're the most experienced person, but you have a lot of unique insight and you have a very interesting way of putting your thoughts across. The only reason I was able to communicate that way in that interview was because of all of the things I've been sharing online and honing. I started discovering what my unique skill set was. Like, give me any idea and I can bring it into reality. Like literally any idea. And that was what they needed for that particular product, because it hadn't started at all. I was starting from zero. I was going to be building the whole framework to get it started. So again, your positioning could be anything. The next thing I want to talk about is your personality. Most times people think you have to be an extrovert, you have to be this person that is all bubbly and high energy. That is not me. I love the company of me, myself, and I. I'm never bored by myself. There's 1,001 things that I like. I'll have my head buried in the book or buried in a rabbit hole researching something. Like I always have something I'm doing. So being outside, meeting people, it takes a whole lot for me to do that. But at the same time, when I realized that, okay, I'm at a point in my career where I'm going to start getting into leadership positions, for me to stand out in those places, I need to get comfortable with just, being able to have conversations with people and have interesting things to talk about. And what having a personal brand does for you, it gives you very interesting things to talk about. Like, you don't go into a coffee chat and you're talking basic stuff. No, you're talking industry trends at the highest levels. Like, when you get into conversations with like senior vice president, executive directors, like your perspectives are so unique that they remember you. Like, every single time that I've pitched myself for a project, pitched myself for a role, I always got it because I have unique insights about that space. And people keep, like, I still got a message yesterday, someone asking, hey, how did you learn about AI? How did you learn about tech? I was self-taught. Self-taught in the sense that not that I had to go learn coding hands on. No, I tried it. I'm like, I hate coding. But I started listening to conversations and started seeing, okay, I understand how each of these technologies work. I understand how AI works. I understand how quantum works. I understand how blockchain works. I understand how they impact our day-to-day lives across different types of businesses. It got to a point I'm walking on the streets and I'm like, oh, Canada Post. What are some resources that Canada Post has? Okay, if I were to disrupt Canada Post as an employee within Canada Post, what are some ways, what are some new revenue models that Canada Post could start to implement using their existing resources? And the existing resources like wide distribution, they're located across multiple different regions, they are known by a lot of people, they are trusted by, like, I started to think in that way. And that's because for me, my why, the reason why I wanted to have a personal brand was so that I could start making leadership conversations. And the kind of conversations that leaders make are those kinds of conversations. Conversations about how do we transform the company? What is the next life of this company going to look like? How do we stay relevant as technology, as industry, as competitors, as the market is becoming tighter? How do we keep and grow our market share? Those are the conversations that I wanted to be part of. But I needed to have very unique insights very unique perspectives, very unique experiences, and I wasn't getting that within my current role. And that's the reality for most jobs. Most of the time, your current job is not going to give you like that growth stretch. You have to go outside, create the platform, create the system, create the process to build that skill set and come back internally with the proof that, hey, I've done this year, or I work with a community of I don't know, miners, or I work with a community of small business owners who work within this industry, and this is what I'm hearing. That is a conversation that then becomes interesting to whatever leader that you're talking to. So it's wherever you already hang out, wherever you already show up. If you have a group that you meet up every Friday to have drinks together, to play games together, to watch soccer together, you could start building a personal brand offline. And then as you're building it offline, start bringing connecting your offline presence to your online presence. So wherever I go, when I meet people, and again, I used to not be the person that will walk up to someone and be the first to say, "Hi, my name is Ehi. This is what I do, and this is the impact I've made. What about you? What do you do?" I used to not be that person. I would just stand by myself and wait for conversations to come to me. But no, that has changed so far. And these days, my social anxiety has reduced. Why? Because it's a muscle. The first time you push yourself to do it, it's uncomfortable. The second time, it's uncomfortable. Over time, you start getting comfortable with that uncomfortableness of it. And it's like every aspect of growth. We take for granted. Again, I'm a farmer first by trade. We take for granted what it takes for a seed to grow. When you plant a seed in the soil, it's going to absorb water. It's going to absorb nutrients. It's going to be shaking amongst rocks and soil and grains, and it's going to be expanding. Do you think that expansion is comfortable? Like, think about it. If you were a grain of seed and you're absorbing moisture, you're absorbing nutrients, do you think it will be comfortable? Because you're going to be expanding. That initial expansion is not comfortable. And that's literally every single thing. So the person that asked about perfection, it's because you have this idea, and the idea you're having is probably influenced by your environment, it's probably influenced by your experiences over the years. That is your moisture that you're taking in. And that's the discomfort, that tension you're feeling is that need for growth, is that need for expansion. And most times the fear is, okay, what if this actually becomes like, there was one time I actually got so scared. What if this becomes bigger than what I can handle? I woke up one night and I had gotten over 6,000 people follow requests on LinkedIn. And I was like, oh my God, how do I, why do I have like 6,000? That freaked me out big time. I'm like, why would these people want to listen to me? But again, growth is uncomfortable. And the truth is, there's so much more to you than what you are limiting yourself to. So think about like, how do you naturally show up? What do you want people to feel? Or how do people currently feel when they interact with you online? It could be that you're this strict go-getter who is extremely disciplined and you don't hesitate to tell people the truth. Show up that way and do that. Because there are people who need to hear that hard truth in whatever aspect of life they are in. And I'll repeat, if you're not sure, you're just testing and experimenting, TikTok is the best place to start. Because TikTok will show whatever you post to everybody, literally everybody. And then as you post it there, you can now start taking those same videos and scripts and reels or whatever it is that you're posting and converting it to text and putting them on LinkedIn. Like, you don't even have to script it too much. It could just be something comes to your mind, like you have a very interesting perspective about something, or you have a basic perspective about something. Doesn't even have to be interesting. Just share your thoughts, share your opinion wherever you already show up, with traits and characters that already make up who you are, with things that people already know about you. That is literally how you want to show up. The last P is presence. I've hammered this over and I think it bears saying it again. It is where you already hang out. If you're a person that spends a lot of time on Instagram, well, start contributing to Instagram. And if you're already contributing to Instagram, then you should be posting exactly the same thing on TikTok, because TikTok favors new accounts more because, again, like I said, they share it to multiple different people. Wherever you already show up consistently, start documenting what you're learning. So I have a Google Keep note. Like as I'm walking on the streets, I have an idea, I write it down. I have an interesting thought, I write it down. I'm having a virtual conversation, maybe I'm having a coffee chat or I'm meeting someone for coffee and something interesting comes up, I write it down. Sometimes I even record myself when I'm having chats with someone in person, because I want that to be like the background of what I want to talk about, because I could easily just overlay a particular text on, like, there's so many things you could. And the best part of it is AI tools that exist to make your life even easier. If you're saying I don't even want to show my face, that is okay. I was watching a video just 2 days ago, and it was about a couple that they love creating things to educate their kids. So they'll create like nursery rhymes to help them learn math, to help them learn speaking, to help them learn spellings, to help them learn different things. So they just started posting lots of videos. They wouldn't show their face, like no, like nobody knows who they are, but they just continued posting and posting and posting. And before long, they had millions of followers, and people started reaching out to them to buy that account, but they refused. Finally, they sold to one very notable brand company that produces, educational toys for kids for millions of dollars with royalties tied to it. And that company that they sold to got acquired by a TV show. So again, whatever you feel most comfortable with. If you're not comfortable with showing your face, the reason I decided to start showing my face in videos and start showing myself in my posts is because that is what I was using it as a way to address my own fear. My personal brand goal is very selfish. It's where I am pushing myself to grow and get comfortable with the things that I'm actually very reticent and shy about. So think about, like, sit down and think through, where do I currently show up right now? How do I currently show up right now? Where do I currently spend most of my time? Like, I'm sure you guys see videos of people who work in ERs, they are nurses, they are doctors, or they work as social workers, and they're sharing things about what they are learning in their industry. I see dentists talking about how to go into their own field or what they're experiencing in their day-to-day life. Like, I see accountants sharing about, what mistakes they are seeing people make, how they are making transitions in their industry, how they are managing life. Like, there's no excuse for you to not start. Whatever reason you're going to give is an excuse, literally. So I'm going to say, pick a platform that you feel most comfortable with, that you already use on a day-to-day basis, whether you go there to just watch and scroll through. That is where you want to be spending your time because you're already showing up there. If you don't feel comfortable showing your face, there are platforms that allow you to not show your face to post things that you want to post, whether that is text, whether that's video. So, you,
Yeah, overall.
Stephen, was there a question?
No, no, I just wanted to interrupt very quickly for a quick announcement. So, and I know this was meant to be 90 minutes, but we still have a lot more to give. So I just wanted to ask, is it okay for us to carry on a little bit longer? And you can just put in the chat if it's okay, yes or no, because I know Ehi still has the remaining parts of her slide to get, and then we still have some other things that we want to talk about, including the Amazon vouchers that we're going. Okay, so a lot of yeses. That's brilliant. So thank you so much. Now, the second thing I want us to do very quickly is to, um, I like the we in here by one necker. So the other thing I want us to do quickly is for every webinar we run, we always like to kind of learn from the webinar and get some feedback from our attendees. So I'm going to quickly launch a webinar feedback. This is an opportunity for you to let us know how today's webinar has been, has been helpful. Will you recommend our webinar to someone else? And if there are some specifics that you have in terms of what we can do better, there's also an opportunity for you to do that as well. So it's just 4 questions, not a lot. It shouldn't take more than a minute. So if you have like specific text suggestions, how we can, because we want to make it better, we want to make it more impactful, which is why we are doing a lot to bring incredible individuals like Eddie to sessions to share their knowledge, to share their expertise, to share their experiences. Personally, I know I'm the host and probably not supposed to learn, but I have learned a lot. Selfish, like I say, I've learned a lot. Um, I started showing up on LinkedIn maybe 4 months ago, and he almost pushed me and encouraged me, and the results have been phenomenal. Um, we had a post that had over 300,000 impressions. Like how, where to where, really. So when he says some of these things, I have experienced it firsthand. I understand exactly what she's talking about, and I know how impactful it can be for your career. So the goal ultimately is how can you position yourself? Like it's personal branding for career success. So, and I know Ehi has touched on so many areas, but on one hand, you have the career success angle, but the principles, because it's not just about giving somebody fish, it's about teaching them how to fish. So, what Ehe is giving us today is these are the principles that can be applied to your career, but also to anything and everything else. So, she's teaching every single person on this call how to fish. You can decide to go grab a Titus fish, the river. You can decide to grab a tilapia. You can decide to grab a mackerel. Some people like me can decide to go grab a shark or a whale, right? But it's you're being equipped with the tools that would allow you to go in there and to fish. So thank you so much, Ed. Um, we'll carry on a little bit longer, but we will not exceed 12 o'clock. Okay, so um, we have 55 responses so far. So probably I'll leave it open for another 1 minute. But while it's open in the background, hey, please go ahead.
Okay. Um, so yeah, thanks for that. And then I want to give a quick story before I move on to. I'm almost done. I have just I think 3 or so more slides to go through. This happened 2 weeks ago. I know, as I keep saying, your presence, whether that's online or offline. There's someone I got to know offline because I go to lots of pitch competitions. I go to events where that talks about business and side hustles and startups. And I kept seeing this person, and she had an idea. She saw me pitch a couple of times and win some of those pitch competitions, and she reached out for some coaching. I gave her some coaching, and then she ended up to go pitch her own idea that she had, and also won like a couple of prizes back to back. And then more recently, she reached out. I started seeing how she was also now supporting other people. And this person has a 9 to 5 job, by the way. I saw that she was supporting other people who wanted to do the same thing. But then something happened. She lost her job. And because I had seen how she works within the environment, I'd never thought too much about it. I'm like, okay, she has a startup, maybe she's doing that full time. And she reached out to me like, hey, Eki, I see this job at the company you currently work at. I would love to apply for it. What do you think I did? I took the, I took, I said, okay, send me your resume. When she sent me a resume, it was just one page. This lady has about 12 years of experience. But when I opened the resume, it was so strong. I'm like, oh my God, like I love this resume. It's so strong, so impact driven. Immediately, I sent an email to the hiring manager. I'm like, hey, look at this resume. I know this person. I think it's worth having a conversation with her because I've worked with her within the community space in the last couple of months. The manager responded, this role has closed, like we've closed hiring for the role, but I will get a recruiter to reach out to her. Guess what happened? She got an interview and she proceeded on the interview rounds. Remember what Steve shared at the beginning? That's hiring certainty. The reason I was willing to send an email to the hiring manager was because she had a personal brand that I had gotten familiar with. And that personal brand was offline. Like I have seen her work in places, I have seen her show up in places. So, your personal brand can open doors for you on the career side. Your personal brand can help you jump queues. It has done the same for me multiple different times. So don't take it for granted. Now, the next level, once you decide and you start to do the things that you want to do, whether that's offline or online rather, you want to start introducing yourself with your personal brand. So you could be the person who is a software engineer and loves photography, and you help people create XYZ in a way that makes XYZ, whatever that looks like. In the early days when you're just starting, when it feels like, oh, I don't have a lot of traction or a lot of evidence, like you could literally walk up to someone. I'm sure if Steven were to go, I'd be like, oh, my name is Steven. I run the career accelerator, where I help people get into job roles and get clarity into how their skill set apply into multiple different job roles. That's also what I do at Anusio, but we do it with an AI platform. Now, the first time I was talking about Anushi or talking about what my personal brand and career journey was, I didn't have that. I haven't built the platform, but I knew that I had supported multiple different people to navigate their career and use that insight to say, okay, what if there was a tool that people could leverage to do that? So I started introducing myself as someone, okay, my name is Ehi. I have 15 years of career experience across different industries, and I support people to help them be in the driver's seat of their career by helping them see their transferable skills so that irrespective of what the job market is doing at any time, they can switch roles easily using data to inform what trainings they should be taking or what career pathways they could be exploring. That was how I started off pitching myself. Now, that brand statement has changed a little bit depending on who I'm talking to, because now I have results behind me. So it's now a case of, hey, my name is Ehi. I have built a platform that uses AI to help companies see how they can make career development more meaningful to each person and show employees the pathway to grow within the company. Or if I'm talking to an organization that trains talent, I will give you access to a platform that uses AI to scale how individuals that come into your program can see what roles they should be transitioning into. We've done it for over 1,000 people in the last 2 years. Like, I now start adding the results that I've been achieving as part of my brand statement. So when you're introducing yourself, you want to be introducing yourself with your brand statement and either the results you have achieved or the outcomes that you help people achieve. So if you're just starting off and you feel like, oh, I don't have a lot of results here, which I don't believe that's the truth, because for you to have gone through or going through whatever it is you're going through right now, those are results. You are one of your results. You can choose to start introducing yourself with the outcomes. This is who I am, this is what I do, and this is what it helps people achieve. When you've now gotten results, you can now add that as the proof of the results that you've gotten. As we end today's session, I think I have one more slide after this. This is what I want you all to do. Whatever it is that you want to show up as. I'm sure you've seen people's LinkedIn profile that will say, proud dad, mom of two, or product manager by day, or cat mom of, like they introduce themselves with what makes them unique. And most times those people outside of LinkedIn as a professional platform, they have another platform where they actually show more day in the life kind of stuff based off of the personal brand that they've chosen to show up. And like with everything, if you work in project management, product management, you understand a lot about experimentation and doing MVPs and proof of concept. That's what I call testing and keep showing up. TikTok is your best place. LinkedIn is a very great place. Just share your thoughts. If you work in cybersecurity and you're seeing trends in the industry, start writing case studies, make it very, very, very succinct. Make it not, it doesn't need to be like too long or too complicated. Show your key points, have a personal blog or personal website where you post the full detailed case studies of those things, link it there. That starts becoming your portfolio that you can show to employers. As you start showing that thought leadership, headhunters start reaching out to you, hiring managers start paying attention to you. But again, it doesn't even have to be that serious. You can decide what it is. The most important part of all of this personal branding thing, and actually the most difficult one, is documenting and sharing what you're learning. That's what people struggle with the most. That's what holds us back the most. So whether it's online and if it's offline, like I said, introduce yourself with a brand statement. When you meet people, your introduction should not be basic. When you meet people, introduce yourself with impact, and it should be tied to the brand that you're trying to create. Say yes to opportunities, because what I found when I started introducing myself, say, hey, this is what I've built. We did for career development, we've done it for thousands of people. People started to say, oh, we have this program that's coming up. Would you come like to speak there? Or we have this program that we're trying to launch. Would you come like to take a cohort training there? And if there is no opportunity coming to you, create the opportunity. What if you decided to introduce an internal project? I had a colleague who was really good at, like, people always complimented his beards. Like, he had this really always well kept beard that was like really full, and he looked really professional. And then he started creating content about it. And that became like the whole brand that people knew him for, even within the company. Like, again, it doesn't have to be anything too serious. You can create the opportunity for yourself. And for some of us who already are part of communities or volunteering for different events, don't just go there as a regular volunteer. No, no, personal brand is about standing out. Personal brand is about being a leader. Personal brand is about being a trailblazer. Like you just set yourself apart from a whole other people, and you become the person they look up to take that journey. So in whatever space you are in, you already have what you need to start showing up with your personal brand. You already have what you need to start showing up with your personal brand. And the most important part of it is showing up every single time for yourself. And what that looks like, you could say, okay, I'm going to be posting every week, once a week. That's a start. Be consistent. Pick a particular day. And when I say personal brand, don't think that it only has to do with, like, oh, I'm recording myself saying something. Yes, that could be one. It could also be that, someone talked about immigrant stress management. It could be that you're bringing people who have had these same experiences as you into like a live interview or a live conversation, and there's like three of you on the call, and you're addressing challenges that families face, or challenges that single people face, or like, all of that is still part of your personal brand. You could choose whatever format you want it to be. It could be that you're bringing in two groups of people that have opposing perspectives, and you all are coming, you're bringing them onto a platform, and you're having a discussion. I find that that's actually much easier, especially for introverts, because you're now facilitating a conversation with other people, and you're not like, the attention is not necessarily on you. Again, be creative. There's so many different ways that you can make this work for yourself. So this is your action plan. Look through what I've shared today, all of the items I mentioned under the different 4Ps. Start deciding how you want to show up, and then choose a frequency that works for you. If that's once a week, if that's twice a week, start in a way that's most comfortable, that's easiest for you to show up, in a way that's fun for you, in a way that makes it easier for you to keep at it. And then if that's offline, start talking about your brand presence, who you want to be, start introducing yourself as that, and start creating the opportunity to have those kinds of conversations. Like I said, having a personal brand is your career insurance. I want you to think about this. If you're currently employed, if your job happens to end tomorrow, what part of your identity will continue to work for you? For me, I've come to discover so many different things about myself that if I had to start afresh today, I am not worried at all. And that's where we want to be in life. It's not because I'm wealthy. I don't think I'm wealthy yet, or as wealthy as I would like to be, but I know that I'm creating the kind of wealth that I want. I'm excited to be working where I'm working. I'm excited to be doing the things that I'm doing. I'm excited to be showing up the way I'm showing up. If I want to tie monetary value to any of the aspects of me, I can easily do that. And I'm doing that right now. So if you don't take anything away today, your personal brand is your career insurance. You do not need permission to build visibility, and your personal brand gives you that visibility. As you combine your offline presence, by offline presence, when you go anywhere, Ask people to connect with you on LinkedIn right there and then. That's how you bring your offline presence online and make both of them reinforce each other. Like these days, I go somewhere and people are like, oh my God, I follow you on LinkedIn. I'm like, oh my God. And then I open LinkedIn and I'm able to tie that face to the name and I see that they comment, they engage, they send me messages. Your hobbies, your passion, your interest, your situation in life, maybe as a mom, as a single person, as a newcomer, as an international student, that is your hidden superpower. The experiences that you're having in that region, in that phase of life, that you can translate into a personal brand that then helps your career. You don't need to be perfect. For the person that was saying it's not perfect yet. People want to connect with the imperfect you because they are feeling imperfect too and they don't know how to navigate that state. But the truth is we are all imperfect and that imperfection is what makes us beautiful, unique, amazing and makes us stand out. That's what people want to relate with. And again, your brand is not just on LinkedIn. It lives wherever you live, whether that's offline or online. And the truth is, once you start to take action, guys, things will start happening for you. What I shared on that first slide in my intro started just because I started to take more intentional action and started to get people to know about my work, started to get people to know about me and what I do and the value that I've brought so far. And it's only been less than 3 years, guys, just less than 3 years. And the skill set that I've grown just because I've chosen to show up has been amazing. Like even I shocked myself. And I think every other person can be there. So decide on your brand, pick the platform, start showing up, and learn as you go. As you show up, the more consistently you show up, trust me, the opportunities will find you. And so that's all I have to say. Feel free to send me a connection on LinkedIn. I respond to everybody, but please do not send me hello, hi, and stop there. I don't respond to just hello, hi. I don't think that's communication. So, and also remember to check out anusha.com and I'll be happy to take any questions or thoughts or engagements or mentorship or guidance outside of the webinar today. Thank you so much for having me.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So if we can just describe how in one word what we think about the his presentation, please can you put it in the chat? Just one word. I have my word, but I'll just like to see what others. The wonderful, inspiring, eye-opening, amazing, educative, amazing, and very powerful. Although I said just one word, enlightening, awesome, motivating. I think it was incredible.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So you shared a whole lot, which, like I said, is synonymous to just teaching us how to fish. So I do really, really appreciate that. We do have some questions, and I know our time is fast spent, but I think we'll take two questions. And then, because I do have like a second part of the presentation we're going to talk about, and then we'll wrap things up. So I think this is a really important question. This is a question by Kerry. So Kerry's question, and I'm going to summarize. It's really about how does a young person who has something to share and wants to share, but feels like because of age, she would lack the required credibility. Um, People will be wondering how, like, why is this young person saying?
Steven, can you speak up again? Speak up a little bit. Your voice is like
I
dwindling
don't
off.
know. I think maybe I should move closer. Is it?
Yeah, this is
Am I
better.
more audible?
Yeah, this is better. Yes.
Okay. So I think it might be the distance. So Carrie's question is around how can she, as a young person with unique insights, share her experience and still get the level of credibility that she believes she deserves. So it's that whole fear of I'm young. People might think because I'm young, I'm not credible to say certain things. How can she navigate that situation?
So that's a really great question. And it's interesting that the person who's young and even the person who's older everybody is talking about the same credibility. So the
Mm,
truth is, it's not really about age.
mm,
It's not really about your age. The credibility you're talking about, you already have based off of the unique insights that you said you have. What gives you the credibility is the experience. What builds that credibility is you showing up and talking about it. Right? Credibility is not something that's bestowed on you. The fact that it seemed like I have credibility today is not because I have 20,000 followers, as Steven said. It's because I decided to start talking about what I have done and showing the proof. Again, proof, showing the proof of what I have done. And then showing the insights. Now you're telling me you have unique insights. Okay, start sharing about that unique insight.
mm,
And when people start listening to you and they're like, that's really profound. That is very interesting. Oh, this is how she does it, and this is the result she's getting. People are going to start trying the same approach that you're sharing. And if they are getting the same results, they will largely start coming back and be like, I actually try. Like, I read people message me and be like, hey, I tried that method you told me. Oh my God, I landed the interview. Or whatever it is that you're sharing as your unique insights is the act of you doing it. That's what gives you that credibility. And again, it might not even be an issue of credibility in your case. It's confidence.
mm.
Again, confidence is not something that will suddenly grow overnight. It's the act of you doing the thing. It's the act of you showing up. That's what gives you that confidence. That's what gives you that credibility. So I would really encourage you. The fact that you're a young person, there's so many other young people that probably need to hear what you have to say. Do not wait. I have an 18-year, like, no, she's not even 18, she's 17. The person I said I met on Reddit and I decided to hire, I was going to hire the other person. But when she reached out to me, she's only 17. So I'm like, okay, I need you to be 18 for us to be able to engage with you on online. So go get your parents to co-sign this agreement. That is a 17-year-old, guys. Like, it's the doing. And what is this girl sharing? She's a pre-med student. And she literally, the last video she posted on TikTok, she's like, guys, I have exams. I can't seem to concentrate and study. Who else is going through this? How are you people managing? Like, she's just sharing like the struggles she's going through. And sometimes she shares how, okay, I was able to find a hack to help me study really fast, or I found this resource that helped me study and understand Krebs cycle much in biology and chemistry. And she shares it with, like, just start sharing whatever insights you have. That's what gives you the credibility. That's what gives you the confidence. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, no, I think is my audio better now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So I had to switch to the headphones. So, no, I think you've done justice to that question, and I can see Kerry confirming that you've done justice to it. Whilst you were speaking, there were a couple of things that came to mind, and I thought I'd add to it as well. So, number one is, um, please beware of fear showing up as different things and in different forms. Because whether is I need to be perfect, whether is I'm too young, and I promise you, there's somebody else thinking I'm too old,
Oh,
right? So it's all at the root of all of these things. I would say is just fear, right? Just that whole fear of starting, that whole imposter syndrome. Just that is it. But in a way, that is a good thing because it means you're actually stretching. It means you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, which is why you feel nervous, which is why you feel a little bit scared. That is perfect. That is part of the process. Ehi shared her story when she started. Like, this is probably not the Ehi you would have seen 3 years ago. And this is the same way I want you to look at yourself. In the next 3 years, you'll be able to go on platforms, you'll be invited to speak, and you would have accumulated grants or won over $200,000, like he said earlier, right? So, like, so many things, so many great things can happen to you. You just need to keep going. There was a lady that used the phrase "do it afraid." If that's what it takes, you have to still do it afraid. And then the other thing I wanted to say is, for some reason, and this is my personal experience that I'm going to share with everybody else, just to add to this whole concept. For some reason, somewhere in our mind, we feel like if we make a video and post it, the whole world will watch that video. The reality is nobody cares. You will find there are a few people that care, you'll find them and you will grow them. But there's always something in our minds that, oh, like if I make this video, everybody you know in your mind will see the video. But the reality
Stevie,
is,
can I add one thing that happened to me recently?
yeah, yeah, please.
So I posted on LinkedIn about how AI is making it such that people that don't even have tech skills are becoming more important for the job market. So if
Yeah.
you have domain expertise in any area at all, like literally any area, but you understand how each of these tech tools work, you're now becoming more important. That software developers are not looking like the most important people anymore. And I shared why people who, whether you study history, English, philosophy, whatever, start getting used to platforms like Lovable, Replit, and building like small projects for yourself. That
Mhm.
post got over 600 likes and engagement. And
Wow.
in the comments, some people were insulting me in the
Wow.
comments. And then what happened next? I got to the office the next day, and then a VP reached out to me like, "Hey, you really sparked a conversation on LinkedIn. I thought your positioning was really great." Like, and that became a whole conversation. But the truth is,
Mhm.
that VP did not even like or engage with that post. I never knew
Mm.
he was following
He
me
saw
on
it.
LinkedIn at all.
Wow.
But
Wow.
since then, we've started having conversations about technical product things, and I'm now
Mm.
on his radar,
Mm.
right? Even
Yeah,
if the whole world watches it, why not you guys? Like, why not?
exactly.
But the
Exactly.
truth be told, when I saw those comments, my heart skipped 10 beats. And I was like, please. I just started like, yeah, it's what it is. In another 24
Yeah,
hours, they're gonna forget it and they're gonna move on. And that's literally the
absolutely.
truth. So
Yeah.
don't let that cripple you. Sorry I had to
Yeah.
interrupt. I just wanted to
No,
share
I think
that.
that's a really relevant story. Because again, it's about just helping. There's sometimes we have this huge wall, right, between where we are and where we want to be, without realizing that in the real sense, there's no wall. Because now you have somebody on the other side telling you this wall does not exist, literally does not exist. So glad you asked the question, Kerry, and incredible response. Um, so let me quickly, because we do have a few more slides to get through, because I know there's some people that have messaged us asking, okay, so how about what would it look like to work with an organization like TCA? So let me just quickly get through those slides. Ehi, are you okay to stay a little bit longer just to answer some questions? Because I know there are questions that we need to answer. Is that okay?
I do have 12 p.m., so I might need to drop. But if it's something you can send to me after, I can record a response and send across.
Okay, yeah, we can definitely explore that. Or maybe it could even be like a written response as well. Okay.
Yeah, okay, sounds
Um,
good. I do have to drop. Thanks, everyone. I hope you all have a great weekend.
okay. No, thank you so much, Ehi.
Yes,
Um,
bye.
thank you. Really appreciate your time, insights, everything. Thank you. Okay, so now we've heard from Ehi, and just wanted to wrap up the conversation. Just because I know a couple of people have messaged to ask, okay, so but what would it look like to work with TCA? What would it look like to work with your organization? Because some people already have something they want to brand themselves around, but others are just looking to transition into a better job, especially within the tech space. So this is what today's conversation is about. One, open your eyes as to how you can brand yourself as an individual, but also on the other hand, there are ways to gain the knowledge you need, gain the skills you need, gain the experience you need in order to transition into tech. So this is where we come in as the career accelerators, and we have these sort of sessions over time. Every now and again we run these sessions just to educate people on how they can make the transition. Like I said earlier, we are an organization that provides hands on practical training to help folks transition into fantastic tech roles. So It doesn't matter what your background is, as long as you desire a role in tech, as long as you have the, you're able to communicate, you have some background, whether it's tech or non-tech. As long as you have that desire, we can help you transition into tech. We've done this for over 500 people successfully. We're still doing this. And this is where, as part of that transition, you need to understand how to brand yourself. So he just shared the story of having a conversation with VPs. This could be your story, especially if you've positioned yourself, right? One thing is gaining the knowledge, experience, but also positioning. What does your LinkedIn profile look like? What will people see when they search for you online? And this is part of what you get as part of our program. So I'll quickly go through the components of our coaching program. So we have a coaching program that incorporates every single thing, every single aspect that you need to go from a non-tech role into a fantastic tech role where you can make over 6 figures. Firstly, we have the core training. This is where you learn the foundational aspects, the fundamentals of the area you want to go into. So whether it's business analysis, project management, UI, UX design, cybersecurity, this is where you learn the foundational aspects. This is not just theoretical training. This is practical training by people that are working in the industry, right? Because it's not just about learning the concept, it's about knowing what to do when you get into the office. In addition to the core training, we also have our hands-on experience. I think if there was one component in our entire program that makes a world of difference, it is the hands-on experience. Because most times the biggest question is, oh, you want to come work for us, but do you have any experience? And the question is, most people don't have the relevant experience, whether it's international students, new migrants, or people looking to switch careers. They do not have the relevant experience. This is where we provide you with the relevant experience. So you get to work on one of our live projects from start to finish. So this is the experience that a lot of people, spend years looking for without success. You can get within a space of 3 months. And in addition to that hands-on experience, we're going to expose you to the practical industry tools, practical industry applications. So when you go into the office on day one, you're not just coming with lots of theoretical knowledge, you're also coming with practical knowledge. You know how to use the tool. So it's like a seamless transition into the role. In addition to the practical experience, you also get one-on-one mentorship. So imagine if you had somebody like Ehi guiding you through this journey. Imagine if you had somebody like myself guiding you through this journey. This is what we provide, because we understand that it's not just about transitioning. It's not just about doing a lot of self-learning. It's not just about, trial and error. That wastes a lot of time, translates into a lot of frustration. But imagine if you had somebody that will break down that barrier that I spoke about and just pull you over to the other side. That is where our one-on-one mentorship comes in. So we'll handhold you through the process, answer any questions you have, ensure that you understand what it takes, and help you avoid whatever challenge you might face and all the pitfalls that are along the way. Now, one thing is to have the knowledge. Another thing is to have the experience. But also the first introduction every individual will have to a hiring manager is their resume. There was something that he said, the person that she recommended for a role, the first thing she requested for was her resume, and the resume was well prepared. So most people end up looking for jobs with resumes that are not optimized. And in 2025, your resume needs to be punchy, because it takes only 6 seconds for recruiters to make a decision whether they want to move ahead with you in the process or not. So it takes only 6 seconds. So what we'll do for you as part of our program is we're going to optimize your resume so you get lots of attention from the market, from recruiters, from hiring managers. And this you can use to optimize your LinkedIn profile, because one of the biggest challenges we face is, or we hear people talk about is, oh, but how do I optimize my LinkedIn profile? What do I put into my LinkedIn profile? So in our case, we have the resume that we're going to optimize for you, which you can now use to update your LinkedIn profile. Now, one thing is having a fantastic resume, but another thing is when you're invited to talk about your experience, to share what you know, to sell yourself basically to the interviewer. How prepared are you? This is the reason why we have an interview coaching package as well, interview coaching session where we'll prepare you for the interview, coach you, ensure that you're speaking the right language when you're sitting with the hiring manager. That is critical because if you're not speaking the right language, they will go for somebody that is speaking the right language. So we'll help you prepare and optimize your responses. And then last but not the least, we have this tech recruiter assessment because one of the things we've realized is a lot of people try to get into the market and they struggle. They don't know what recruiters are expecting. They don't know how to position themselves. So we decided, why don't we invite and partner with a tech recruiter who is going to assess our students before they hit the market. So it's like a pre-check by a recruiter before you actually hit the market. So when another recruiter sees your resume, they straight away see that your resume is speaking their language. They straight away see that you have been prepared. So this technical recruiter will assess you and prepare you for the marketplace before you wrap up the program. So all of this you can get. All of this you can get as part of this program. So imagine for a second that you invest some money, invest your time. We need about 2 to 3 months, and it will be 6 to 7 hours per week. That is what we expect from you. And in return for that investment, you get up to 105,000. So you get the opportunity to work from home. You make up to 105,000 per annum. You have endless career opportunities. You have stability. You're able to plan long term. You have a mortgage because again, lots of people want to have their own homes, but they don't have the bandwidth. They don't have the I say job security in order to make those long-term plans. But what if you can do that? What if you can spend more time with your family? What will that mean to you? And this is why it's important to have programs like ours that will provide you with a pathway into securing fantastic six-figure jobs in tech. Now, in terms of our coaching structure, it's typically for a period of 6 to 12 weeks, depending on the course. And it's an online course, and we typically meet twice a week because we understand that it's a part-time program. People have full-time jobs, so it's designed in such a way that you will be able to take part fully whilst you do your full-time job. Because again, you need to earn, you need to pay bills, you need to do what you need to do, but it doesn't mean you should stay there, which is why it's important that you start working your way into a job that pays better, has more flexible hours, etc. We've had people that have reached out to us and they work some crazy shifts, like 12-hour shifts. We had a lady who reached out to us and she used to commute to and from work 2 hours each way. So 2 hours to work, 2 hours from work. And this is just an admin job. Now, after she took the program, she was able to secure a BA role, and that allowed her to work fully from home. So the 2 hours going, 2 hours coming back completely disappeared. So this person now saves 4 hours every single day and 20 hours every week. This is 4 hours of sitting on the train. So that is just incredible. Please remember this. Information alone is not enough. You can sit in 10,000 webinars. Having information alone is not enough. You need to take action. Now, that action could be you register for a program so you can be within an ecosystem of like minds, of people that are pushing, of people that are trying to achieve greatness. Or you can decide not to take any action, right? So if you keep consuming information, it is not equal to action. Just know that. There are so many things that he recommended. We can take the information, but then we need to act on the information. A lot of people do not recognize that the difference between someone like Elon Musk and us, is that he has certain bits of information and he has taken action based on the information that he has. A lot of people have the same information. Some people even have more information than he does, like professors in universities, that all they do is to study, but they haven't really taken action, right? They haven't really taken the steps in to convert the information they have into results. So it's critical that we go through today's webinar and identify one thing that we're going to do to transform our lives. So it's not, again, not a video to go watch. No, it's one thing that we're going to do to completely transform our lives, because it's in the action that we have the results. Okay, so um, for those that would like to reach out to us, again, you can take a picture of this. It's info@careeraccelerators.ca. I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn at Stephen Adindo. We are on LinkedIn as TCA, the Career Accelerators. So please follow us. Please send us an email. Follow us. We're on YouTube as well. Give us a call if you would like to speak to a coach. It's completely free of charge. And yeah, take a picture of this if you need to. One more thing. So to register, just go to our website, www.thecareeraccelerators.ca. Click on our courses, select the course you would like to register for, click on enroll now, enter the discount code, and then go through the checkout process. It's literally as simple as that. I always like to wrap with one thing. This is Warren Buffett, easily the most successful investor of all time. And he said the best investment you can make is not in stocks, it's not in bonds, it's not in real estate, it's not in clothes, it's not in cars, it's not in shoes. It's an investment in yourself, because the more you learn, the more you will earn. And that is the truth. So thank you so much, everybody. It has been an incredibly insightful session, even for me, because I learned a lot as well. So congratulations, Yvonne, on your voucher. Congratulations, Ken, on your voucher as well. Look out for an email from us with your Amazon voucher. And again, we keep running these webinars to continue to educate people, to continue to help individuals completely transform their lives and secure fantastic six-figure jobs. So we have another webinar coming up next week, Saturday, which is around cybersecurity. So for anybody that is specifically interested in cybersecurity, then please keep an eye out on our pages. You'll see the link come up. Do sign up for those. But yeah, do have a fantastic weekend. We appreciate you for joining us. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, everybody. And we look forward to seeing you on the other side within one of our programs. And we look forward to succeeding with you.